Hi trail walkers, I'm out and about still. I'm over here at the mall now. I'm getting ready to get my brows done because they're just getting curly and unruly. I kind of inherited curly eyebrows from my grandfather on my mother's side. We all have these things that are kind of odd about us. But anyway, before I go in, I wanted to share with you another little nugget of information. I just got off the phone with a friend of mine. We went to school from back in the college days, back in Hampton University, way back. And from time to time he checks in with me to see how I'm doing, especially now that he knows that I'm back in the Newport News area. The reason why I'm looking around is I'm just trying to make sure that nobody comes across the feed, that's all. I'm okay. But the subject came across that he's always had the same problem I had. He was a middle child, and he was brought up around the same time I was brought up in the early 70s. And you got to understand the mindset during that time was that, you know, people were always trying to be in with the in crowd. Everybody was trying to do what everybody else did. But we're living in a new day and age now, and we have to think differently. People are all about celebrating their own uniqueness, and that's great. But you know, back then our parents did the best they could, and you know, I suffered from low self-esteem for a very long time, for most of my adult life, to the point where I was behaving negatively. It created anxiety in me, and eventually led to addiction because I didn't know who I was. I was always compared to other people. Why don't I be like so-and-so? Why don't I do so-and-so like so-and-so does? And you know, it might not be, you know, meant to hurt anybody's feelings, but when you compare one child to another, that's not fair. Because if you have two totally different children, then they may have two totally different mindsets as to what they want to be and how they want to do. So if one shows a talent, let's say for music, and the other one shows a talent for mathematics, don't compare the two because you like the music because you like music better and not that great at mathematics. You know, try to encourage their talents, because what happens is eventually they try to fall into the mold of what you want them to be, and they reach a breaking point. And I reached a breaking point. I realized that it wasn't the life that I wanted to live, but because of the way I was trained, I felt that, okay, you know, if I don't do so-and-so, I'm going to disappoint everybody. But I never had a chance to get to know who I was because I was always compared. Now, don't get me wrong, I did not have bad parents. They did the best they could with what they had. But sometimes people make that mistake when they see that someone's doing quote-unquote better than somebody else. Then, you know, you got to think about those things. And you have to take that into consideration. And words are very hurtful sometimes. You know, children are looking for your support and your approval in something that they're doing, and then the first thing that comes out your mouth is you know, something to kind of, you know, to put down what they're aspiring for. Encourage them, because what it does, it helps build a sense of self so they can take care of themselves. And eventually when they get older and they have a good sense of taking care of themselves and becoming independent as individual people, when it's time for them to take care of you or take care of emergencies in the family, they have the wherewithal to be able to do so because they have that inner strength. And it took me many, many years to find out who I was as an individual person. And all that time I was thinking, you know, something's wrong with me. You know, how come I can't do this? How come I can't do that? How come I can't function? And don't get me wrong, I played the blame game for a while. I did. Oh, I said, well, you know, my parents shouldn't have did this, or, you know, this person shouldn't have did this, and this person shouldn't have did that. And you know what, the blame game lasts, it's okay for a little while. But, you know, once you start getting 30, 40, 50 years old and you still blaming your parents for stuff, well, newsflash, none of us are perfect, and we all had our struggles. And people are going to get tired of you just blaming everybody and not taking any accountability or responsibility. And when you choose to do so, do it by yourself and develop a system that you know that will help you. Okay? And then once you develop your sense of self and you're able to live life the way you want to, you can finally breathe. It's like that York peppermint patty commercial, the cool sensation that goes through your brain. And that was one of the things that helped me bring myself back together, to help myself bring back to a sober reality. And it's a long journey. It's not going to happen quick. We live in a society now where we have people with a microwave mentality, is what I call it. If it's not done in a minute, they don't want it. And everybody knows that some of the best things require a lot of time and patience. So, you know, this is kind of out to the parents and to the other relatives and stuff out there. You know, if you see one child doing something that you like and you see another child doing something different, different is not wrong. I encourage both of those children to be their individual selves. My goal is to make sure that my children are independent and able to take care of themselves in this world. That's all I care about. I want them to be able to take care of themselves, feel good about themselves as individual people. But to try to pit one against the other one is just wrong, because it could have some detrimental effects. I just wanted to put that out there. See you next time.